Nico Hulkenberg has become Audi's first driver, signing for its impending Works Formula One team, and will rejoin Sauber for 2025 ahead of its transformation. Audi is taking full control of Sauber and developing an F1 engine for the first time ahead of a full-scale manufacturer entry for the new 2026 rules. Though the team will not be known as Audi before then, partly because it needs to see out its customer Ferrari engine deal in 2025, Audi is keen to have its own drivers installed next year, with current Sauber pair Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu likely to make way. Audi has been courting Carlos Sainz for a long time, and its chances of tempting the three-time Grand Prix winner to the project seemed to be boosted massively when Ferrari announced it would drop Sainz at the end of 2024 to make room for Lewis Hamilton. But with Sainz waiting to see if any seats at proven top teams, primarily Red Bull, open up for 2025, Audi cannot yet secure its top target. In the meantime, it has looked to lock down at least one driver, with Hulkenberg another to have been coveted for quite some time. Sauber CEO Andreas Seidl, who will head up Audi's F1 team from 2026, had already tried to recruit Hulkenberg for 2024, but Hulkenberg's Haas contract stood in the way. No such obstacle exists for 2025, so Sauber Audi moved early to tie Hulkenberg down, as he was known to be of interest to other teams, including Williams and Alpine. Haas announced on Friday morning that Hulkenberg will leave the team at the end of 2024, with confirmation of his Audi deal following soon after. He has signed what has been described as a multi-year contract starting in 2025 and will be closely involved in the development of the first Audi F1 car. The move will also mark his return to a team he drove for in 2013, when he finished 10th in the Drivers' Championship. It marks a return to a works team for Hulkenberg for the first time since he was dropped by Renault at the end of 2019. That left Hulkenberg out of a full-time F1 drive for 3 seasons. Although he did make some impressive stand-in performances for Racing Point Aston Martin in that time, before unexpectedly making his way back onto the grid with Haas in 2023. Why did Nico Hulkenberg choose Audi? Audi's first Formula One driver for its works entry might not be the one who ends up spearheading its project. But considering Nico Hulkenberg spent 3 seasons on the sidelines, during which there was a very real prospect of his career ending, just getting the Sauber Audi seat for potentially the next 3 years makes the 36-year-old one of F1's most unlikely comeback stories. The main draw for Audi seems to be that it wants a German driver to be one of the faces of its works effort in 2026. There are no other German drivers on the current F1 grid after Sebastian Vettel bowed out, and Mick Schumacher was replaced at the end of 2022. Hulkenberg is, therefore, the best bet for Audi in that regard. Since making his F1 debut with Williams in 2010, he's picked up 534 World Championship points and notched 208 starts as of the 2024 Chinese GP. He is therefore among the most experienced F1 drivers. Yet, Hulkenberg also holds an unwanted record in the most F1 starts without a podium, and he'll probably break the record for most Formula One starts without a win in Miami on his 209th attempt. But that doesn't, or at least shouldn't, detract from his qualities. After a stint with Renault that ended in 2019, Hulkenberg spent the next 3 years in the wilderness, though he would emerge from the coronavirus lockdown to make cameos in place of Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll at Racing Point in 2020 before stepping in for Vettel twice at the start of 2022 when the team had become Aston Martin. Those cameo appearances only cemented Hulkenberg's status as a reliable driver who can score points regularly. He finished 7th in place of Perez in the 2020 70th Anniversary Grand Prix at Silverstone, having qualified a shock 3rd, and 8th standing in for Stroll in that year's Eifel Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. His call-ups in place of Vettel at the start of 2022 in Aston Martin's cumbersome initial AMR22 didn't go as well, but Hulkenberg did out-qualify regular driver Stroll in the Bahrain GP and outraced him in the following Saudi Arabian GP. All of which was enough to earn what's effectively a second F1 career, as he was then called up by a beleaguered Haas to make his full-time F1 return in 2023 as its patience with Schumacher wore thin, and Haas instead decided to bank on experience. Hulkenberg's far from the only driver to take a hiatus from F1 then return in recent years. Nico Hulkenberg, who is currently driving for Lamborghini in the World Endurance Championship, Hulkenberg's Haas teammate Kevin Magnussen, and Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso have all done likewise. Of those recently sidelined F1 drivers, Alonso is unquestionably the one who has nailed his second chance best. Having initially dipped his toe in non-F1 waters in 2017 by making a spectacular Indianapolis 500 debut, the two-time champion ultimately took 2 years out after a disastrous stint with McLaren starting in 2019. During that spell, he won the Le Mans 24 Hours for a second time with Toyota, having first done so in 2018, made 2 more Indy 500 appearances, with less success, and even took on the Dakar Rally. All in all, with the driver market shaken by Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari in 2025, perhaps Audi has timed its timing well and finally secured an experienced driver capable of fulfilling his full potential.